Hey guys, this is the XRP Cowboy. We're going to make a video. We're going to get to the facts. We're not going to tell too many stories. We're just going to get into it because, I've got a 4 a.m. bedtime and it's like 3:30 a.m. or something. I don't even know what time it is, but it's around 3. Maybe it's a quarter to 3. I don't know. My dreamers, my roadies, we hit $1.91 or 2 or 3. This is great. We may be at $2 right now, but we need to talk about this. This is really important. I have Joe Biden here. I wrote down. Why did I write that name? I can't even, I think I was going to bash him, but then I heard digital asset investor talk about how we're going to have a positive IPO because like we didn't in the last 4 years. And it made me think about this guy. It's kind of sad. Like, we want to believe that he's like, oh, I lost, I'm mad, fuck Trump, But really, this is like a senile old man. He probably is just smiling all the time if someone tells him to. Smile for the camera. His brain's like mashed potatoes, but the thing is so, like, he's not sitting at home thinking that way. I don't even think he knows where he is. He probably didn't even know he was president. Someone had to tell him every day. I mean this. It's sad. I don't blame Joe Biden for the last 4 years. And I don't hate him because it's a mental illness. With aging that some people get. It's not his fault. Who I blame? The people that fucking voted for him. Fuck you, motherfucker. We told you this fucking Sleepy Joe can't put together a sentence unless he's reading it from a teleprompter. It's fucking crazy. I blame those motherfuckers. So I wrote down some things. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft. That's like 10 trillion market cap, just the three of them. And right now, our market cap of the whole space is just around one of those companies. If it just did what the top 3 cryptos did, what the top 3 publicly traded companies are doing, it would be astronomical. But we're not a stock. We're not a share of a company. We are a share, a portion of something that has investable value, supply demand, but it also has a utility, which would increase the supply demand, and the price would go up the more it's used because of demand isn't there. Demand is there, I should say. So the thing is I think Bitcoin should be viewed somewhere between, a high market cap stock and gold, or silver or anything, any like commodity, I guess you'd say. Depends on your perspective, and how you're invested in it. But I think it's fair to say we have to look at a stock as a pond and a crypto utility as a fucking ocean. If Bitcoin went to a $3 trillion market cap, that would be a 5x market cap. But the thing is that doesn't mean Bitcoin would go up 5 times. Let's call it 100,000 to 500K. It could go up to 600K. It's very complicated how market cap works, but we'll say it all comes down to what someone's willing to sell for and what someone's willing to pay for it. And, and it's when it's more scarce, and there's a lot less Bitcoin than Apple stocks. There's less of a percentage of people willing to sell, and there's less of one that are willing to buy. But if somebody wants to buy, no one wants to sell. Now all of a sudden the market cap, exceeds the projection of where the market cap currently is, and that always happens. Meaning, if you have let's say $100,000 Bitcoin at $1 trillion market cap, that's not what it would be, but let's just say that for simple math. If it goes to 2 trillion, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to be worth, 200,000. It's not going to double because the market cap did. It might be worth 250,000. Maybe more, maybe a little less, but it's not going to be double. That's not how it works. Too many variables. But I don't know if XRP's market cap was as high as it is right now when it went to $3, $4. It just wasn't many cryptos to choose from. So there wasn't people trading a lot of things that dilutes market cap. But what's interesting is, I could easily see a $500,000 Bitcoin. And what would that mean for XRP? And that's the one that's got the utility. Bitcoin, a utility of store value, that is great. It's what gold is, and that has worked. That's its utility. But XRP's utility is much greater, more physical, and it has the potential to make the price go up faster by the way its utility is used. The thing is at the end of the day, we're going to win here. So we talked about that. What? I write shit and I don't even know what it says. Oh, who's buying right now? XRP. I'm going to tell you this. It's not retail's buying, but it's not the retail that's pushed to these levels. More and more people, the higher it goes, the more interest, the more institutional buyers are buying, and they're just going to keep buying and buying and buying until Ripple can't control the price anymore. And I say that because Brad did say he worked at Ripple with the escrow, worked like a market maker, which means to control the price. That's the answer. And I would argue that Ripple has been doing that and still is. And I think now where the price levels are, it's because they decided to let them get that high. They decided they wanted more money in XRP. And maybe they need it for the, all the projects they're doing and like the RLUSD. I don't know. They could be launched, active and everything, like in December, I heard today. Released to the world. So that's interesting. The Golden Spiral says, we've talked about that a lot, that we'd hit 170 yesterday. We said that, and we said that'll be a resistance. It could bounce right back, but it could keep going. And it did. It broke through it and it kept going. And I would say now the concern of support is no longer the $1.30. That's a heavy one, strong one, but I'd be looking at the 160 level for it to retrace to, if it was going to retrace. But like we said in the last video last night, we said you could just blast right through. And if it does blast above $2, it's really important that we pull back and test that and bounce off of it, not down from it, because then it's confirmed. But right now, what's great is we have another level of support below us, which is $1.61. And if we can bounce off that $2, it's actually $2.10 the number. But things can be fractionally off. But if we can get above $2.10 or $2.05 even, I'd be good with that. $2.05, because the higher it is, smaller percentages drop it a lot more. That's why it's a little difficult, because these numbers were based when the percentages were higher at lower levels. at the current levels. Like example is 1% of 100 is a penny, right? But 1% of 10, well, let's just say 1,000 is 10 pennies. You know, I mean that's what's happening here. So we could be off by a few pennies, but at the end of the day, I think it can bounce off of 210 or $2. We have, I mean, we're at like all-time highs. And why is that important? Why are all-time highs important? Because if you get above them and you bounce off of them, it's called price discovery. It's when the greatest, fastest gains are made. We're not even there yet. I was listening to a guy I listened to, and he was quoting me without crediting the cowboy. But this is just a rebalancing and a correction. And to be clear, we should be at between $10.75 and $13. I mean, we don't move first. We never have. But, now that there's no obstacles, we could be just correcting to that. And then, after we get to that, maybe we'll go sideways for a while. And the alts will have their fun. But at the end, we're going to have another leg up. That's the dirty secret is there's no end this time. There's just going to be this, I think, for years, to where it's leveling out slowly after enough money gets into it. But the real people that are moving the market, it's either the whales are buying right now, which is bullish because they just have to the more it goes up, the more it's on their radar, and they start thinking crazy shit like it could go to $1,000. I'm not saying it can't, but I'm just saying that's where their minds are, and that would be awesome. But bottom line is, they're the ones moving it, or Ripple. Either way, it's a good narrative. I mean, this is beautiful times. Flare, I want to talk about that. Computer, Alexa, play Oh Darling Nikki by Prince.
I couldn't find Oh Darling Nikki, but here is other music by Prince.
That's cool. All right, let's talk about Flare. I keep saying that Ripple's going to make you rich. Alexa off. And Flare is going to make you wealthy. Now, my point is this. I'm referencing currently purchasing something. Ripple is amazing. XRP is my baby. But I bought this baby much, much cheaper. And I see this opportunity, and it's pretty great with Flare being its first bull run. The market conditions, and it's a real company. It's not a rug pull. And I do think it's going to be a top 10 crypto. And it's at like 3 cents right now. If you would have bought 10, if you would have spent 5,000 of them, I'm drinking. If you would have bought $5,000 worth when it was, at a penny, let's say, every penny it went up, well, you'd have $500,000. And every penny it went up, it would be $5,000. I mean, that's fucking amazing. So that's why I think it'll make you wealthy. And, who knows how high this could go. And I think it's above 20 or 30 cents, and that would be great. But, so if you're going to buy something, I'd buy that, not XRP at these levels, even though I think $12 is a starting point of where it's going to go in the near term. And I also think in the coming months, not year, months, we're going to see at least a $20 XRP. And if they have some non-disclosure agreements, NDAs come out, and work with Elon publicly, and something with the president, they've met with him and his son. If there's something like that, it could be $100. It really could be $100. Remember, market cap isn't what was transferred into it. It's a percentage of what, like, you could have a market cap, that has $10,000 purchased into it, but if no one wants to sell, that market cap could be infinity. Because the offers are going to keep going up if there's a buyer until one sells. So, it doesn't mean what you think. I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, for XRP to just be fair market value, it would have to be above $10 right now. That's crazy. And I'll tell you, people are saying Bitcoin's got one more move up. Bitcoin is going to keep moving up and keep moving up with volatility, but there isn't one move left in Bitcoin. The hard thing is when everything's up and you're happy, you almost want to sell just because it's going to pull back and it's going to make you worry, even though the worries are going to go away shortly because the price is going to go up. I mean, that's the hard thing.